so honored that blah 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 and so on and so forth, etc. ad nauseum.
This is a movie about vampires and freak creatures who run a secret organization and entertain people. It's action, adventure, fantasy movie with the following actors on the screen. At the beginning of the film, we see a teenager who is buried underground but is still alive. Moments before this event, we learn that his name is Darren. He is popular at school and has excellent grades. His best friend is Steve, who persuades him to leave the class, which resulted in an incident Darren has not had so far. Because of that, his parents forbade him to hang out with Steve, but they secretly continue hanging out. Darren is obsessed with spiders, and Steve is obsessed with vampires. At that moment, an invitation came out of the car for the biggest freak show, which is celebrating 500 years. The teacher sees the invitation and forbids everyone to attend. That evening, they sneak out and leave. There was someone waiting for them at the ticket entrance, who returns in 3 seconds. He bites Steve's hand. Mr. Toll is the organizer of this event, named Cirque the Freak. His team consists of people with unusual abilities that distinguish them from normal people. This is a wolfman who bites off a woman's hand who has special ability to regenerate her hand. Her name is Korma Limbs. There is a resident hunger artist, Alexander Reeves. Gerda Teeth, a ram with 2 bellies, makes a bike out of his belly. Then Evra, the snake boy, who tries to perform but is interrupted by a friend. Madame Truska invites someone from the audience to join her on stage. Everyone raised their hand except Darren, and she chose him. Her strange ability is to grow a beard, but at one point she gets a vision in which she sees Darren and something bad is going to happen. Next on the scene is her boyfriend, Larton Krebsley, a vampire, and his friend, Madame Octa. Just one bite is enough to die. Larton used the flute to restrain the spider. Steve recognizes him from one of the books he read about vampires. Suddenly, the spider jumps at Darren and Krebsley warns them that vampires don't exist. Heresy comes with the intention of interrupting the show. Darren enters Krebsley's room and takes Octa, hiding from Krebsley and Gavner, who is also a vampire. They belong to the group of vampires who do not kill people, but only knock them unconscious and feed on them, while the other half who kill people are looking for them. They are also called Vampanese. Steve enters and wants to turn him into a vampire. There is no one from his family, so no one will miss him. Krebsley tasted his blood and tastes evil, so he can't become one of them. Krebsley notices that Octa is missing, and Darren escapes from the back, getting into a stranger's car called Mr. Tiny and one of the Vampanese. The next day at school, Darren hides a spider from Steve, who eventually finds out and accidentally falls out, which causes chaos at school. Octa tries to escape, which she eventually succeeds, but had previously bitten Steve. Darren is very worried and goes to ask Krebsley for help. He has an antidote, but he will help only if Darren becomes his assistant and turns him into a half vampire. Darren agrees, just to save a friend. After exchanging blood, they go to the hospital and help Steve to recover. The next day, he is already free, until Darren almost hurt his sister due to vampire taste. He has to leave his family, and Krebsley helps him to fake his death in order to succeed. Steve noticed the vampire claws, which was strange to him for a moment. That night, Krebsley pulls him out while he plays games in the coffin. But there is one of the Vampanese who came for Darren to appropriate him in his team, not in the team of the weak vampires. Krebsley fights with him and manages to deceive him in the end. After that, Krebsley takes him to his camp. While he is speaking with Mr. Toll, Darren meets Rebecca and they eavesdrop on the conversation together. Evra will get a new roommate, and Harkan leads the way. Evra introduces him to his space, and he is into music. Steve is dealing badly with this situation about the death of his best friend. He gave up for a moment until Mr. Tiny appears on the roof. He informs him that Darren is alive, and he is taking his place as a vampire. Mr. Tiny is trying to find someone through whom he can provoke a war between a vampire and Vampanese. Darren has to work and provide like everyone else to stay here. Also tries to increase his speed and plays along with Evra. After that, he tries to call Steve and his phone is destroyed. Mr. Tiny decides to pay a visit with the intention of taking Darren away, but Mr. Toll will need time to think. Since Darren's pants are torn, Rebecca helps him find new ones. She also admits that she is here because she is a monkey girl as she has a tail. It's wrapped up because people kept stepping on it. Krebs tells Darren he can leave camp. He is weak and can't fight for himself, but Krebsley showed by example, leaving him alone in the woods and attacking him to defend himself. He shows him how to use his nails to attack, but Darren is too weak because he doesn't drink blood. They turn Steve into a vampire, who used this moment to attack his teacher. After that, we see the vampires can exhale gas that will knock humans out. To feed them, let them go instead of killing them. But Darren still doesn't want to feed on human blood, which makes him weaker, and eventually he can die. The Vampanese came for him. Krebsy managed to take him to safety, while the others resisted. They gave him a message to return to them, because he belongs there. Steve leaves with the others and kidnaps Darren's parents, but he goes on his own to surrender. Octa sees him, and Krebsy knows. Darren sees his parents, who are completely surprised because Darren is alive, and there is also Rebecca. Steve says that he will let his parents go if Darren kills Rebecca. Mr. Tiny is watching the show. Rebecca uses her tail to free herself and give her blood to Darren to gain strength to fight. Krebsley helps, who kills the Vampanese and starts their war with each other. The truce of 100 years is over. Mr. Tiny stops them and turns the Vampanese into a little disgusting creature. Steve goes with him. Krebsey erased the memory of Darren's parents, who eventually kissed Rebecca. A vote is being taken on whether Darren will stay with them, and the majority agrees. Eventually, Krebs and his friends along with Darren prepare to leave so that the others can be safe. Thank you for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button. See you soon.
Let's spend some time wasting it away. Your love is like music. You went and changed the game.